For over 30 unforgettable years, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson wasn't just a late-night program. It was a cultural institution. And through thousands of episodes, Johnny sat across from some of the most iconic stars in entertainment, politics, comedy, and beyond. He was known for being gracious, witty, and professional, but every fan knows that Johnny had favorites. Rare guests who could make him laugh, light him up, and bring out the absolute best in him. Today, we reveal the 9 Golden Age guests Johnny Carson loved the most, many of whom became legends on the show. And number 2? Almost no one saw that coming. Let's begin. When Steve Martin first appeared on Carson's stage, he was still an up-and-coming comedian. But Johnny immediately recognized something special. Martin's offbeat absurdist humor, banjos, arrow-through-the-head gags, and all was unlike anything on television at the time. Johnny loved that Steve didn't just tell jokes, he invented his own comedic universe. Carson laughed harder at Steve Martin than almost anyone else, and he even once said backstage, "Nobody does Steve Martin like Steve Martin." Their chemistry helped launch Steve into superstardom, selling out arenas and releasing best-selling comedy albums. Bob Hope wasn't just a guest, he was practically Tonight Show royalty. Hope had the most appearances in show history, and Johnny always treated him with reverence. Whenever Bob walked on, the band would strike up his signature theme, and the audience would roar before he even spoke. Carson admired Hope's groundbreaking work in radio and comedy, but also his tireless dedication to entertaining troops overseas. Hope and Carson shared a warm friendship that lasted decades, and whenever they sat together, it felt like 2 legends looking back at Hollywood history in real time. Now here was a guest who could bring out Johnny's belly laughs. Don Rickles, the king of comedic insults, would roast Johnny, the band, the audience, and NBC executives without hesitation. And Johnny loved it. Whenever Rickles showed up, Johnny's professionalism gave way to pure, unfiltered joy. Rickles could take over the show in seconds, and Carson let him, because he knew audiences were glued to the screen. Their banter remains some of the funniest late-night television ever broadcast. Richard Pryor was an electric performer, honest, raw, and groundbreaking. Johnny admired his brilliance not just as a comedian, but as an artist. Pryor could make the audience howl with laughter while talking about pain, politics, race, and the struggles of life. Carson respected that Pryor wasn't afraid to be vulnerable. Many don't know this, but Johnny went out of his way to protect and support Pryor during a difficult period in his life, even when networks felt hesitant. It showed just how much Johnny valued him not just as entertainment, but as a human being. Long before she became a superstar in her own right, Ellen was a young stand-up comic trying to break into the mainstream. Johnny saw her first set, loved it, and invited her onto the show. Then, in a moment that changed her life, he did something incredibly rare. He waved her over to sit on the couch. That gesture instantly validated her career. Johnny didn't do that for just anyone. And now we reach the final 4, including one guest Johnny openly called the most naturally funny talent he ever met. But number 2? Even the crew admitted they never expected how deeply Johnny felt about her. Stay tuned. Before Letterman became Carson's late-night successor in spirit, he was a quirky comedian from Indiana trying to make a name for himself. Johnny saw something incredibly familiar: sharp wit, deadpan delivery, and fearless improvisation. Carson loved Letterman's brain, and the audiences knew it. Letterman himself has said that Johnny was his greatest influence. "I stole everything from him except the smoking." Johnny believed Letterman would carry the late-night torch for a new generation, even if NBC had other plans. Whenever Robin Williams sat down, you could feel the electricity. Johnny rarely had control of the interview, and he didn't want it. Williams would unleash impressions, characters, improvisations, jokes, and acrobatics at hyperspeed. It was like watching lightning perform comedy. Johnny's genuine laughter was unmistakable. He once joked, "I don't interview Robin. I just try to survive him." No matter how many guests Johnny saw over the years, few lit the stage on fire like Robin Williams. Most fans expect comedians in Johnny's favorites, but the guest who touched him most wasn't a comedian at all. It was singer and actress Bette Midler. Their connection grew over many appearances, But everything changed on Johnny's second-to-last episode in 1992. Beth sang a breathtaking, emotional version of "One for My Baby." As she sang directly to Johnny, he began to tear up, something audiences had never seen from the stoic, composed host. It became one of the most iconic moments in television history. Viewers still say it revealed a side of Johnny no one ever saw before, vulnerable, sentimental, and deeply appreciative of a performer he truly loved. Johnny later said,